Several months ago, I found myself at a Walmart late into the night. Although I can't recall the exact time, the store was eerily quiet. I only needed a few items, so I anticipated a brief visit. As I wandered through the nearly deserted aisles, there were just a handful of employees and other customers scattered about. After about 5 minutes of shopping, I approached the self-checkout area, hoping to finish quickly. There was only one employee lingering nearby. As I made my way to the self-checkouts, the employee called out, informing me that all the machines were out of order and suggested he could process my purchases for me. He gestured for me to follow him. We walked a few aisles over to the regular checkouts. The man, shorter in stature with long, light brown hair and a lean frame, took his place behind the counter. I placed my items before him, and he began scanning them. He made small talk, inquiring about my day, typical cashier behavior, but then his questions took a strange turn. He asked where I was heading next, to which I replied that I was going home. His response was unexpected. He proposed that I hang out with him. I politely declined, finding his suggestion odd. He then offered to get some food together, but I reiterated that I needed to leave. His demeanor shifted abruptly. He handed me my receipt with a noticeable scowl, and I quickly walked away. Feeling uneasy about the whole encounter, I headed to my car, navigating to the opposite side of the parking lot since the usual entrance was shut. As I approached my vehicle, a chilling realization struck me. The same employee who had just rung me up was now standing behind me. His sudden appearance startled me, and he inquired once again about my destination. I hastened to my car, slipped inside, and thankfully, he didn't try to follow. I started the engine and sped off, my heart racing. Since that night, I've avoided that Walmart, and any Walmart, for that matter. I can't shake the feeling that the employee's behavior was deeply unsettling, and I wonder if the self-checkouts were genuinely malfunctioning or if he just wanted to lure me to his register. Regardless, I have no intention of returning, hoping that I never cross paths with that man again. This incident unfolded about 5 years ago, yet its vividness remains etched in my memory. It stands out as perhaps the most bewildering encounter I've ever had at Walmart. Back then, I frequented Walmart often, drawn by its affordability for groceries and household items, even though I was far from fond of the place. It was perpetually crowded, and odd occurrences seemed to be the norm. One evening, I made the regrettable decision to stop by Walmart after work. I pulled into the parking lot around 5:30 p.m., and it was immediately apparent that something was off. The lot was jam-packed with vehicles. As I navigated the rear section, a car abruptly emerged from a parking spot and nearly collided with me, forcing me to slam on my brakes. After managing to park, I headed towards the store. Just as I reached the crosswalk in front of the entrance, a vehicle sped by so close that it almost struck me. By this point, I was already on edge. Once inside, I grabbed a shopping basket and made my way to the grocery section, intent on picking up about 10 items. The store was a chaotic mess, with long checkout lines and throngs of people milling about. As I meandered down one of the aisles, a shopper's cart came dangerously close to me, marking the beginning of what would become an increasingly unsettling trip. At the back of the grocery section, I was reaching for a gallon of milk when I heard a child's voice behind me. I turned to see a young girl, no more than 7, standing there. Next to her was a shopping cart overflowing with items, seemingly all acquired by her. The girl greeted me and then, with surprising directness, asked if I could pay for her groceries, as her family was without money. I was taken aback and questioned her about the cart's contents. It was brimming with goods, far beyond $100 worth, including various non-grocery items. I declined, explaining that I was shopping at Walmart specifically to save money. If finances weren't a concern, I'd have shopped elsewhere. The girl didn't respond but simply wheeled her cart away. I watched her cautiously as she approached a woman near a frozen foods display, who I presumed to be her mother. Curious, I trailed closer, since I needed yogurt, and overheard their conversation. The mother instructed the girl to ask another man nearby for help. Feeling uneasy about the situation, I continued shopping but remained perturbed. A short while later, as I was near the bakery, the girl approached me again, repeating her plea for me to cover their groceries. I reminded her that I had already refused and inquired whether her mother habitually made her solicit strangers. The girl confirmed this, explaining it was to secure free items. Just then, the mother appeared, fuming. She intervened aggressively, positioning herself between me and the cart, and demanded to know why I was speaking to her daughter. I explained that her daughter had asked for my assistance and questioned the practice of having her beg strangers. The mother's response was curt and dismissive. It was none of my concern. When I suggested that perhaps they'd receive more help if the cart wasn't so full, her reaction was startling. She revealed, "We had a cart just as full paid for 2 days ago." This revelation led me to question her neediness. I remarked, "Why do you need so much again? Do you have an army of children at home?" I told her to leave me alone and attempted to walk away. In a shocking turn, the woman rammed me with her cart, striking my legs and lower back painfully. I almost lost my balance but managed to stay upright. I spun around, and she began hurling expletives at me. I shouted back, demanding she stay away. Despite my anger, I knew engaging further would be unwise. I continued my shopping as onlookers gathered, and the woman continued to berate me. Unexpectedly, about 5 minutes later, I heard the clatter of a cart speeding towards me. I turned to see the woman charging at me again. This time, I managed to block the cart with my hands, though she still made contact, hitting my legs. She then attempted to ram me repeatedly. The commotion drew several witnesses, and after a heated exchange, Walmart employees and bystanders intervened. The altercation was eventually broken up, and the staff called the police. The woman was escorted out of the store. I finished my shopping with a heightened sense of relief, ensuring I didn't cross paths with her again. This experience remains the most surreal and distressing encounter I've ever had at Walmart.